Greetings, peoples of the interwebs. Jake here, and with me is my good friend Tyler. And we're going to be reviewing the part 1 and part 2 of the Daredevil Season 2 trailer. So, Tyler, I'll let you start off, because I think we all know what my opinion is.
Yeah, also, I would like to just take a brief, unimportant moment to say, I pitched this idea, and it's going on Jake's channel. So, thank you, audience, and people that are going to watch this video.
Woo, yeah! Okay, so what's your idea?
I love that it's a... what?
Alright, what's your idea?
Well, like I said, should we just already start it off with the big one?
Yes!
Alright. We're gonna already start off with... Just hearing this already gives Jake a fan boner for excitement. But that Punisher's coming.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god, yes! Punisher.
Yeah. Yes, who's played by John Bernthal, and we've all agreed it was an interesting choice that they chose John Bernthal.
Yeah, like, it was one of those things where he wasn't, like, he wouldn't have been my first choice. Not to say that, like, you know, he's a bad actor or I have anything against him, but it's just, I guess he wasn't someone I had considered, but when they cast him, I was like, okay, yeah, that's really good, actually.
Especially since he doesn't, physically wise, he doesn't quite look, or, like, so I say, physique fit the bill of Punisher.
He's not as tall, like, as, because, I mean, in the comics, Punisher's, like, 6'2", 6'3", or I think anywhere from, like, 6'2" to 6'4", I think, depending on who's drawing him and whatnot. Now, John Bernthal, I think, is about, like, 5'10".
Like, but, like I said, he looks great.
Yeah, but I mean, really, a height, that doesn't matter. That's just me being nitpicky. Like...
Yeah, like I said, I've mentioned before, who I was thinking who could have possibly done a choice and maybe fitted a bit better was Alexander Skarsgård. And for those of you who don't know, just look up Stellan Skarsgård and you'll see his son.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff. But like I said, it's only a minor complaint, and just from this trailer,
I wouldn't even say that's a complaint. Again, that's just more of a nitpick than a complaint.
Yeah, and just looking at this trailer right now, we can all say that I believe most people in the fan base are going to agree John Bernthal is going to be an excellent Punisher.
Oh, yeah. Which, again, because, like, you know, I think we kind of briefly were like, okay, so let's, or, you know, because I rewatched both part 1 and 2 of the trailer, just that way they're fresh in my mind, and so that way I'm like, okay, which one do I like better? Not that there is much, speculation about that, because as I'm sure you all are well aware, and if you're not, Punisher is my favorite Marvel character, and the part 1 trailer was very heavily Punisher based, and
that's really how both of these are. Like, part 1 was more focused on Punisher, and part 2 is more focused on Elektra.
Yeah, and the hand.
We'll get to the second one a bit later.
So, here's actually how I think the season will work. I think, like, the beginning, like, say, maybe the first half of the season will be focused more on the Punisher and the conflict between him and Daredevil. Because, you know, in the comics, it's kind of that same way where they both want the same thing. They want crime off the streets, they want, you know, a safer city. But Punisher, he just goes about it in the, you know... And I love that the line in that trailer.
That's probably what's going to be the feud of them, because, you know, Matt Murdock, which also I would like to say is recently, because I just recently started watching Daredevil, and I'm absolutely in love with it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Cox does a great job at performing as Matt Murdock, and he's recently become one of my favorite superheroes. And overall, he's just quite interesting, because I've been somewhat looking into the comics, and he just is interesting.
I would start with the Frank Miller run. I think that's a good starting off point. Cause that's kind of where I started reading the comics, is the Frank Miller stuff. Cause like right before the show started, you know, season 1, I was like, okay, I'm gonna read some of the Daredevil comics just to kind of brush up on the character. Cause I was familiar with him, but not like, I actually hadn't read any of the comics, and I wasn't like super well versed in Daredevil. And so naturally, when like I kind of asked around and just looked online, unanimously everyone was like, okay, if you want a good place to start with Daredevil, go with the Frank Miller run. It does not disappoint, and it doesn't. And especially for like the show, because the show is very much Frank Miller era in a lot of the you know, subject matter material and stuff like that. But again, like when you like one of my favorite lines in the first trailer with the Punisher and Daredevil when they're fighting each other is he's just kind of like when you put them down they get back up. When I put them down they stay down. And just like his he's just kind of like you're a half measure. Or when he's like you're just one bad day away from being me. I was like that is such a Frank Castle thing to say. Like if he gets criticized by any other heroes.
Into saying that that's probably going to be more the feud between them is, because Matt Murdock, he's like a lot of other people where they don't want to kill him.
Yeah.
But Frank Castle, on the other hand, he just wants to kill him, which I guess can get more results, but it's more ethical. But if anybody knows Frank Castle's stories, you almost can understand why he does want to murder them.
Oh yeah, like it makes perfect sense. And again, like that's one thing that I find that I like about Punisher is he's got that tragic backstory to where you feel bad for him, you sympathize for him, but in a way he's also not. And again, depending on which writer you're going with, because if you're going by like the Garth Ennis run, which in my opinion is the best, like the way Garth Ennis writes Punisher is he's not as likable. In a sense, is like other Marvel characters or just comic characters in general. Not to say like you're reading the comics, you're like, man, I hate the Punisher, but like he's a lot more cold and just very like he is just his only mission is just to kill the thugs and stuff like that. Which again that's in all the Punisher comics, but he's I guess there's like not as much dialogue from Punisher. He just goes in, he gets the job done, and it works. Like I'm not saying like that's a bad thing. It works perfectly for the stories for which Garth Ennis is writing. But I do love when Punisher comes across these other heroes like Daredevil or Spider-Man or whoever in the comics or another media where basically like they come across each other and. Because I know, like, in Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man was actually when Punisher was first introduced. Punisher is hired to kill Spider-Man, because, he doesn't know that Spider-Man's a hero and stuff like that. So eventually, like, those two kind of have a scuffle. They realize that, like, they're on the same side, but it's still one of those things where, Spider-Man's like, we're on the same side, but not really, because you just kill people, dude. That's not right. But what I love about Punisher, though, is no matter who's talking to him, whatever hero, whether it be like Daredevil, Spider-Man, Captain America, they can lecture him all he wants, but at the end of the day, he does not give a shit. He's like, look,
he's kind of like Deadpool, but more non-sensical thing. Which that's another thing about Frank Castle is unlike, obviously, if you hear any of the superheroes or whatever going to be after you, but if you hear Punisher after you, people are going to shit themselves.
Yes. And that's one thing that I love, because, I mean, like, if a criminal is, trying to mug an old lady or something in the streets, and Spider-Man shows up, obviously they're not going to be like, oh, it's Spider-Man, whatever. They're going to be like, oh, it's Spider-Man! But it's more of like, hey, we can maybe take him, or we can maybe make a run for it. But, like, when Punisher shows up, and you just see that skull on his shirt, like in the comics, especially the Garth Ennis, like, they run. They run for their lives, because they're like, oh, no, I'm not dealing with this.
We go back to the main reason is Punisher does not spare anybody.
No, he is ruthless, and again, that is his only mission in life. He is dead inside. All he wants to do is keep killing until the day he dies. And again, like, I love that scene in the trailer when, Matt Murdock was talking to his police friend whose name escapes me, and he's kind of like, no, these guys were hit hard with, like, military precision. You just see, like, this like room with like broken windows and the doors all busted down, blood and bullet holes. You're kind of like, oh, and it's like I don't know. Like honestly, I hope it's one of those things where you actually see the Punisher like in action, like, and then you see that. But even if they don't, it's one of those things where you just see Punisher like walk into a building, and then you see that clip afterwards. Because it's that kind of like allure of mystery where you're like, oh, I don't know how Punisher did it, but I know it was awesome.
Because another thing I remember we were discussing is that this is the fourth film attempt or on-screen attempt that they're doing Punisher. Because otherwise there were, I believe, 3 previous movies movies?
Yeah, because there was a Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren in the 80s, which I've heard was terrible and not close to the source material at all.
Yeah, I've actually not seen any of them, although one of the one with, I'm thinking of with Thomas Jane and John Travolta, that's on Netflix, and I've been just wanting to see that. And then they made another one, I can't remember who's in that one.
That was, cause for the longest time I actually didn't know there was a Dolph Lundgren one from the 80s, but there was a 2004 one, which, that was probably the best in terms of, like, film was, but then Warzone, which came out in 2008, was a lot closer to the source material, and the cast, like, or at least Ray Stevenson, the actor who played Punisher in that movie, I thought was perfect for it. Like, he was about the right age, right build, like, right height and everything, but that movie just suffered from bad writing. I think if the writing was a little bit, because it was kind of campy at times, and I just feel like if the writing was a little bit better, that movie would have been really good. So, I mean, like, in terms of, like, tonally, it was perfect for The Punisher. It's just, I don't know, like, I might need to rewatch it, I might like it more, but I just remember I didn't care for the movie. But yeah, this will be the fourth attempt at a live adaptation of Punisher, and I think this time they'll do it right, just because, one, it's the MCU, and even the weaker MCU movies are still good, in my opinion. But also, like, they really know what they're doing with their source material. It's not like the earlier, like, comic book movies where they just take the name of the character and, like, kind of put them in whatever story they want, and don't really adhere to the source material. But also, again, like, I think the best way to reintroduce the Punisher to non-comic readers in the MCU is with someone like Daredevil, like, to pair him up. So that way, again, you see that clash of ideology where, again, like I said earlier, both of them want the same, they have the same end goal. Clean up the streets and get rid of crime.
Yeah, exactly. They just go at it in different ways.
Yeah.
Which would probably be the main feud.
And, I say we start transitioning into the third, or the part 2 of the trailer, and I'll get to why, because I want to, like, here's how I'm hoping they bring, like, what I hope with Punisher is, it's not, I hope it's not one of those things where, like, you know, they fight, and then they're kind of like, okay, whatever, you do your thing, and then they, like, part ways, and then the Punisher's done for the rest of the show. I mean, if that is the case, I'll still be fine, but what I hope happens is, so in the second part, the focus is on Elektra, and she's back in town, because you know that they have a history. Not just for comic readers, but you can just tell from that trailer they've got a history. And also there was a name drop. Or not a name drop, but there was a reference to Elektra in Season 1. Back when there was that flashback with Matt Murdock and Foggy in college. And like, Foggy's talking about, like, all the, like, hot women that Matt's dated. He's kind of like, oh, didn't you date, like,
yeah, and then he's like learning, like, what is it, Punjabi? In order to speak with them?
Yeah. But he was kind of like, oh, who's that one chick you dated, Matt? She was, like, Spanish, she was, like, Greek. And he's kind of like, oh, yeah, that's right. And so that, like, comic readers like me, we're kind of like, ah, there's Elektra! Other people are like, you know, whatever. But, so Elektra is basically back in town because the Hand, which, for those of you who don't know, they're a mystical group of ninjas, like ninja assassins. And Stick, who is Daredevil's mentor,
who was played by Scott Glenn.
Yeah.
And he was only in, I think, literally just one episode.
Yeah, I think he was just in that one episode. But he had a really big impact in that one episode.
Yeah, supposedly because also we were going into our expectations for it, and this is something, they also briefly showed it, because judging from the second trailer, it's mainly going to focus on the Yakuza, because they were there and then they weren't in Season 1. But then also, they barely went over what the Black Sky was, because even Matt Murdock didn't know what it was. He was just like, it's just a kid. But Stick, he was like, no, that's not just a kid. But, of course, most people, unless, again, you really read the comments, you have no idea what it is. I'm one of them myself, where I'm not fully sure if it is, but I know it has a big importance.
Yeah.
And then that's where the second trailer, it already sets it up as what's going to be the main threat of it. Like,
and even
one, it was Kingpin. This one, it's going to be focused on the Yakuza.
Well, not so much the Yakuza will be involved because the Hand are involved with the Yakuza. They almost go hand in hand, no pun intended. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where, like, the the Hand will be the main threat of season 2. And, it showed those really cool clips of, like, Daredevil and Elektra teaming up. But again, the weird, like, Elektra, like, again, for those of you who don't know, aren't that familiar with, like, Elektra and whatnot, Elektra and Daredevil's relationship are almost like Batman and Selena Kyle or Catwoman's relationship, where, like, they don't really trust each other all that much, but they are really attracted to each other because of, like the mysterious aspects, and it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I don't like your methods, but damn, you're hot. Let's after we're done teaming up to fight this person, let's go back to my place and we'll discuss how wrong your methods are, and then of course they, end up engaging each other physically.
The thing is, that's exactly how it works, though.
Yeah, because like in the comics, like the Frank Miller run, like Daredevil or Matt Murdock meets Elektra in college, and it's one of those things where he knows that she's dangerous and he shouldn't be going after her, but he's kind of like, I can't resist. I have to, like, meet her and, like, actually confront her. And so basically he, like, sneaks into her mansion just to, like, meet her. And she's kind of like, damn, dude, you're pretty good to, like, sneak into my mansion, take out some of the armed guards. It's like, let's go hang out. And then they end up, going out on the town. And again, it's one of those things where he knows he should not be with her, but he's just kind of, like, intoxicated by her presence. And even Stick, like, when he finds out that those two are, like, hanging out, he's kind of like, no, get away from her, dude. She's bad news. And he's just like, whatever, old man. And so I think that's how it's going to work, like, in the show, where they might allude to something like that having happened back in their college days. And so that's why, he's... Because in the trailer, he's kind of like, we can do this, but no killing. Because Elektra, she's more of an anti-hero as well. Like, she'll kill people and not have much regard.
She's an assassin, specifically.
Yeah.
Or an ex-assassin, I
yeah.
can't remember which one it is.
So, she doesn't really have any regard. She'll just, kill people, especially members of, like, the Hand, like, evil people like that, and just kind of like, dead, whatever. I sleep at night, perfectly fine, either way. And again, that's what leads to conflict between those two, even when, like, they're, kind of dating each other, or superhero dating, where it's like, they're like arguing. It's kind of like, oh, stop killing people. It's like, no, and then they just start passionately making out, and then afterwards it's kind of like, oh, we need to stop doing this. It's like,
and that's I forget. I think we were joking about this, or even in the show. I think Foggy was kind of joking at it. Is that even though Matt Murdock is blind, he always somehow seems to know what girls are ugly and what girls are attractive looking.
Yeah.
Kind of like how he knew Claire, played by
Rosario Dawson.
That she was, she was also pretty good looking.
Yeah, and same with Deborah Ann Wool.
I can't remember who's the actress that's playing Elektra. Do you know?
Elodie Young. I'm not familiar with her. But I think she, just from that trailer, I'm like, all right, I'm all on board. And then even
same with John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Castle. It's like when you hear the name, it's like that's an interesting choice. Then you see it, it's like, oh yes.
Yeah. But Deborah Ann Wool, who plays Karen Page, was another one. Like she's beautiful. So I'm just, it's again like for a blind guy, he knows how to like, score with the ladies.
Yeah, even though he doesn't really have much of a relationship there.
Well, yeah.
Him and I'm drawing a huge blank. What her name is?
Karen Page.
Yeah, Karen. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say anything. But yeah, it's just they're more so friends, but it's still a relationship, I guess you could say in some ways.
Well, I mean, Karen Page is one of his love interests in the comics. But I think another reason why like him and Elektra like just really click is because they can just be themselves with each other. Like, because Elektra obviously knows that he's Daredevil, so it's one of those things where he doesn't have to always make up excuses like, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't return your phone calls, I was whatever. He can just be like, yeah, I'm saving the day, so we'll rain check and we'll, I don't know, go eat lunch tomorrow if we're both still alive. Which I imagine, that makes it, that's a complicated relationship to be in a superhero relationship, but also makes it a little bit easier in ways. But what I hope, like, kind of, going full circle back to the Punisher, what I hope happens is, because obviously, Daredevil reluctantly teams up with Elektra to take out the Hand. What I think would be cool is, Daredevil and Punisher, again, they disagree, and they're kind of like, I don't like your methods. But Daredevil reluctantly brings Punisher, and he's kind of like, look, dude, so you like to blow shit up and kill people, right? And he's just like, yeah. Okay, so these are really bad people. I might need you to go blow people up and kill them. And he just, like, Punisher comes in just, like, in, like, an armored truck or something. Or even if he doesn't come in, like, with an armored truck. I just want him to, like, show up, start blasting members of the Hand, and he just shows up and just shoots the crap out of them. It's like, yeah!
Indeed, and also, especially judged from the first one and just who Frank Castle is, this one's definitely going to be a lot more grim.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
The first couple episodes when they probably go over Frank Castle's origins, which, for anyone who doesn't know, Jake can correct me if I don't know this. Essentially, the reason why Frank Castle was an ex-backup soldier, if I'm right, or was he?
Yeah, I think it was Special Forces.
Yeah, and essentially his wife and child was murdered by
a goldfish
or something, and then he decides to become an vigilante.
Yeah. Although they weren't murdered, they weren't murdered by gang members though. They were murdered by a goldfish.
A goldfish.
Yes. No, not really. Yeah. Yeah, they were.
Imagine if that was actually.
That's when he just sees like his wife and children's body. He's like, "Damn you, Aquaman!" But no, but yeah, his family were caught in a crossfire.
2020.
It started because of a goldfish. But yeah, his family were caught in the crossfire between like a mob war, and Punisher, obviously was distraught, and he's kind of like going to the police. He's like, "Well, you guys are gonna take down the mafia members, right?" And they're kind of like, "Well, our hands are tied, because policies." And he's just kind of like, "Okay, well, if you're clearly not going to do anything." And so, since Punisher has a lot of military training, he's a great tactician and strategist, and a really smart guy. Like, not like Tony Stark level smart, but just combat wise, the dude knows his stuff.
Yeah,
so he's just kind of like
knows how to murder somebody but not leave any evidence or a big scene where they can catch up to him. So that's why also in the trailer they say with military precision, because that's his training.
Yeah.
And he knows how to get in and get out quick and clean. Well, not necessarily clean because their brains are going to go over the wall, but still, where they're like, wait, they're dead, but where's the bad guy?
Yeah. But also, like in certain comics, like I know in like the Garth Ennis, and maybe all of them, because I haven't read all the Punisher comics yet, because there's a lot of them. But in
that's
like
one of your lifetime goals.
Yes, but in like the Garth Ennis run, it's almost like the police and some of the law enforcement. It's almost like this thing where again they don't agree with Punisher's methods, but it's one of those things where like he'll blow up a building, and so long as there aren't any casualties, like civilian casualties, they're kind of like, look, yeah, we don't condone what he's doing, but it works.
He does get results at some point.
Yeah, so it's because like even Nick Fury, like actually this really cool storyline, I think in volume 3 or 4 of the Punisher Max series, like Nick Fury has to get a hold of the Punisher to send him on this really like covert mission. So in order to get a hold of Punisher, because again he's not one of those people like on social media where you can just tweet him and be like #Punisher, what up? So what Nick Fury does is Punisher was after this pedophile. And but he got locked up in prison, so Punisher wasn't able to get to him. So what Nick Fury does is he pulls some strings, gets the pedophile released. So naturally, as soon as Punisher realizes he's released, he goes after him, and so the guy, Punisher goes after him, kills him, and so after Punisher kills him, he like walks out of like this dark alley, and Nick Fury's right there. And he's kind of like, I knew this would get you, get you to, come out in the open. He's kind of like, oh. Should have known you were behind this, Fury. And he's kind of like, yep, you're welcome. Got a mission for you. So that again, it's one of those things where, I mean, I don't think Nick Fury in the MCU will be that shady, or even show up in the TV series, especially doing something like that, where he's kind of like, hey, I'll let you kill a pedophile. By the way, I got a favor to ask. But again, like that's kind of how it is in some of the comics. It's like the police don't try as hard to try and, like arrest the Punisher, because like, I mean, we could try and arrest him, but he'll probably just shoot us. And it's one thing to, like, go against, like...
It goes back to how feared he is.
Yeah, because even, like, law enforcement, they're kind of like, do we want to go against the Punisher? It's like, no? It's like, alright, let's just say we arrived late on the scene, and he killed everyone before we got here. Gosh darn it. I'm going on lunch break. So yeah, that's another thing too, as to why Punisher is able to, like, kill all these, like, you know, thugs and criminals and more or less get away with it, because, again, he gets results. And that's his whole argument. Because again, like, anytime Captain America or whatever, like, lectures him, it's like, are you proud of yourself? It's kind of like, yeah, I get results. How many of your villains keep coming back? All of them? How many of mine? None, because they're dead. So yeah, Punisher's amazing. I cannot wait for this season. Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, like...
I think I've talked enough. Tyler, do you have any other words before we wrap this up?
We really, I guess, almost touched bases on a bit of everything. Like I said, main thing, I know this is obviously too more likely to be expected, is they definitely go more into the Black Sky.
Yeah.
In season 2, which that's to be expected. But then bigger question is really, what's the last episode going to be like? Because kind of what it was at the beginning of the last episode of season 1 is it kind of showed the bits of Kingpin, but in a way that looks like he may actually come back later. Because, you know,
yeah, like I think there's a good chance Kingpin will appear in season 2. I think it'll just be like he's maybe only in like maybe a couple episodes. Or
he'll definitely probably even be talked.
Yeah, he'll definitely be referenced.
Daredevil got rid of him.
Here's my speculation on maybe how the season will end. I think it'll somehow kind of loosely tie into Iron Fist. Because Iron Fist is, he's like a martial arts, expert, and he's dealt with the Hand as well. And they recently officially, I believe they officially cast Iron Fist earlier today. The actor is Finn Jones. He plays Loras Tyrell in Game of Thrones, for you Game of Thrones junkies like myself. So I think maybe, because like there were like some like little Easter eggs and hints at like, I think things related to Iron Fist in season 1. So that's my guess, is that somewhere towards the end of season 2 there might be like some kind of reference, maybe not to Danny Rand, who's Iron Fist particular, but I think they might somehow try to find a way to like weave it into Iron Fist. But that's just my speculation. Could be wrong. We'll see in a couple months.
Most of this was, aside from the analysis, was also speculations of what to expect.
Yeah, which I'm expecting greatness. Because initially I was kind of like, man, Daredevil season 1's great. How are they going to top it? And I'm not saying like season 2 will, it'll be better. But I think it definitely has potential with bringing in Elektra and, of course, Punisher. So naturally, as soon as I heard, like, when Marvel were kind of like, okay, season 2 of Daredevil, gonna have Elektra and Punisher, I was like, ah!
Yes, exactly. Just hearing his name.
Yeah.
Jake gets all giddy in excitement.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, I was just like, who are they gonna cast as Punisher? And then they're like, John Bernthal. I was like, ah! So, needless to say, I'm gonna hate it, because Punisher's... No, I'm gonna love it. Because, oh my god, Punisher. And again, Elektra looks great. The season looks great. And, yes, I am pumped. I cannot wait. I really cannot wait. It needs to come out right now, so I can
but
just...
also, another more speculation you can see, also showed someone in the trailers, is how is Matt and Foggy's relationship going to hold up? Because he was already annoyed that he found out that Matt was fighting crime, and this trailer is definitely going to be even more close ties between them.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because we didn't mention it. And that does seem like that'll be a big focus between Matt and Foggy as well. Because Foggy, it was one of those things where he didn't really... it was that, like, kind of reluctant approval, where he's kind of like, dude, I fear for your life every time, you go out. I don't know if, like, I'm going to ever see you again. But it is one of those things where he's like, but you're a hero? So it's... But yeah, I think it is more one of those things where their relationship will be very much strained, because Foggy's always kind of he's always gonna have to be like covering for Matt anytime he's like late for an appointment, for like a trial or something like that, or just any kind of business meetings, like, oh, my partner Matt, he's oversleeping, or maybe he got lost because he's blind. So yeah, I think their relationship will definitely be put to the test as well, which again will further add to the drama, and not in the good kind of drama, like actually good drama, not like
not soap opera.
Yeah, not soap opera drama like you see in like a lot of Walking Dead and Arrow. Which, don't get me wrong, like those shows, but I could deal without the soap opera drama. But
let's hope to God one of my friends does not find this video, because he's gonna just spam your comment section like, "Fuck you, Arrow is perfect in every way."
He's wrong. He's entitled to his own opinions, but if he's wrong, it's not perfect. Like even it's.
I have not finished it. Like I think I maybe got halfway through season 1, and then I just kind of lost interest. But I have been looking into repicking it up.
I'd recommend it, especially season 2. Season 2 is really good. But before we're getting a little off topic, so let's go ahead and wrap this up, shall we? So, Tyler, what how excited, scale of 1 to 10, are you for season 2 of Daredevil?
Probably now. Let's just say a solid 10, even though it's overrated. Everyone says 10 just because of out of excitement.
Okay, I think that's fair. So I think I'm legitimately at like a 10, because again, I like just after rewatching like part 1 and 2 of the trailer, I was just like, you heard my reaction. I was just like, oh, Punisher! Like I was having like a little giddy nerd fest where I was just like, it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I think my excitement level's solid 10.
Also, one last possible prediction: maybe Foggy will finally get to sleep with Karen.
I could kind of see it, like, because they kind of had, like, not so much a romantic relationship in season 1, but they had a connection. Because I was kind of surprised, because, again,
really
Karen Page...
They practically spent most of their time together.
Yeah. And even though Karen Page is one of, Matt Murdock's, or Daredevil's, love affairs in the comics, I don't know if Foggy and Karen ever hooked up. I could be wrong, because, again, I haven't read...
complicated.
Yeah, so it's possible that like, they might substitute Karen Page, or, like, Daredevil and her may not have a romantic thing, because he might be in kind of a love thing with Elektra and Claire.
Yeah.
So...
Because, which, that's going to be more public, because we already know, just because, if anyone pays close attention, there's a brief scene of Elektra,
clearly banging Daredevil. Presumably.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Definitely doing something. I didn't know if I would say it bluntly, but yeah, so we all know
they're banging.
Matt's gonna bang Electro. So,
yeah.
Maybe Foggy will get...
Yeah, maybe Foggy will get, he'll get his chance with Karen Page, which, if that happens,
maybe Matt will get lucky with a threesome with Claire.
Oh, man.
If so, real lucky him for a blind man?
Yeah, he wouldn't even know how lucky he is. But yeah, so, yeah, we're pretty excited. And before we wrap this up, Tyler, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yes, precisely. People can find me over at my channel, which is TCM6420. I currently do movie reviews, and, well, that's about it.
It's good stuff.
You're probably gonna have to search my name, because Jake does not know how to do links.
I really don't. I have no idea.
Even though it's pretty simple, because he sends me links all the time in Skype.
Is that all I have to do?
What?
Is that all? Okay, never mind. We'll talk more about this like when we wrap it. Otherwise, this will drag on where you're just trying to explain to me how I link things. But yeah, so you can find him over at his channel where he does movie reviews. I might appear on there at some point. Haven't been invited yet.
He really does need to. But as for future, and now if you're going to go look at my channel right now, as for what my next review is,
yeah, what do you have going on right now? What films are you gonna review?
Okay, definitely what I'm gonna do is Batman vs Superman, which comes out next month.
Yep.
But also, I may even do when I binge watch it all, I may even do an entire review of Daredevil season 2.
Ooh,
but
I like that idea.
As for other movies here and there, not quite sure myself, because there's not really anything else. Like, sure, Gods of Egypt coming out, but nah, don't really want to see that. I might want to go see that 999 movie.
Oh, hey, that does look really good.
It's with Anthony Mackie and Kate Winslet.
Got a fantastic cast.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting as it is, and overall it looks to be entertaining. From whatever reviews I've heard, it's pretty decent, but
yeah.
I'll have to go see it. But as of right now, nothing is set in stone other than a guaranteed Batman v Superman trailer next month.
Yeah,
review.
So here you go. He's got movie reviews going on, and he might do Daredevil and some other TV shows. So go check him out. Give I want you guys to subscribe to his channel, not just because he's a friend, but he knows his stuff, and I want him to get at least 50 subscribers by the time summer rolls around. So go do me a favor. Yes. Go do him a favor. Subscribe to his channel. And keep up to date with his reviews.
While you're here, because you already have that page, why don't you subscribe to Jake?
Yeah, if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Be much appreciated, or don't, whatever, to each your own. But I'd really appreciate it if you do, and if you enjoyed this review, leave comments. If you didn't enjoy it and you thought we got off topic way too much, feel free to let me know, and I'll keep it in mind.
Jake should shut up, and I should talk more, because as always, the host talks the most. Also, be sure to put that.
Yeah, just any criticism, send me your hate. Your hate completes me. So, yeah, until next time, everyone, cheers.